Happy Saturday night. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. I just wanted to come on because I was supposed to come on yesterday, but due to technical difficulties, I wasn't able to come on. I was gonna do a flashback Friday, but I wasn't able to pursue that yesterday, so I'm here tonight. So it's so strange. I was gonna talk. I forget. I was gonna actually tell you guys a story yesterday, but I could still tell you, but it's just not gonna be a flashback Friday because it's not Friday anymore, which is fine. But I think it was Thursday night. I had a nightmare like all night. So, and it's weird because I haven't had nightmares for like a couple years. So I haven't actually had any bad dreams or anything until Thursday night. And so it's kind of strange to me. And so, in my dream, I was in my room and there was a room across from mine. And the room across from mine, there was a woman in it. And it's weird because it wasn't the woman that I would think would be in the room. It was somebody totally different. And so I was just like, this is weird. So I seen the woman's face, but it's weird because she went in the room and like she hid behind the door, so she wouldn't open the door. She didn't want to reveal her face to me, but for some reason I was able to still see her face, if that makes sense. And so while she's in a room, I was just like, she was screaming. So I guess she was mad at me or upset with me for God knows what. And she was like screaming, right? And with the door, well, I think like when she's walking in the room, she was screaming at me. I don't know why. She was just upset with me, right? And so when she got into the room, she closed the door and she started screaming more, like louder and louder. It just kept getting louder and louder, right? And so I was just sitting in the room and I was just like looking at my door, because my door was open, but her door was closed. I could just hear her going in, like literally. And so then the more that she screamed, the louder it got. It ended up turning into like a growl. And so instead of it sounding like a scream, it sounded more like a growl after a while, right? And so I was just like, this is weird. Because the growl just got more demonic. It sounded more demonic, like the more that it growled. And so it didn't even sound human at one point, and so like I could literally like hear the anger, right? And like I was just sitting there and the louder it got, I don't know why I did this, but I remember I grabbed my door and I slammed it really hard to kind of let it know that I wasn't afraid of it. And but the more that it growled, it wouldn't come out the room though. And so it was across the hall from me, like literally. But the weirdest thing is, it was like a totally different person from who I would think it would be, in the room. And but it's weird because it didn't like reveal itself to me. It's like it couldn't come into my presence, right? So it stayed behind the closed door, right, growling, but it wouldn't approach me. So that was kind of the end of the dream. But I noticed, like, as I was thinking, because I've had dreams like that in the past over years, right, of being attacked in my dreams. So it reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, Like, that's what I think of every time I dream like that, right? Because I literally be getting attacked and I see my attackers and everything. But before, they used to actually be able to attack me, right? But now it's like the dream yesterday was like, or the other night, it was like, whoever that was, it's like they're hiding behind the door, like they wouldn't approach me to like show me their face, right? And so it seemed like they couldn't even be in my presence, right? But they're just kind of letting me know that they're still upset with me. I don't know why, but whoever it was, I don't know, but I noticed like in the past I would get attacked though. Like I I literally been attacked in my dreams where I've been bitten and everything a lot of times by my attackers, you know, and but I think back then I was kind of like, my vibration was probably lower, you know. I wasn't as healed back then, so it was easier for certain energies to kind of attack me through my dreams. And remind you, I haven't had a dream like that for like a couple years. And so when I had it the other night, it kind of like freaked me out because I was just like, why am I dreaming about getting attacked again? This is crazy, right? And so it's weird because now I look back to it, it's like back then I would be able to get attacked, right, in my dreams. But now when I dream of certain things like that, it's like they can't even approach me or touch me. And I think it's because my vibration is higher than it was before, right? Because I healed more than I did back then, you know. I'm more healed now than I was back then, if that makes sense. Because, so I think like from my experience, I know like the more that you heal yourself, you know, and like heal your traumas and overcome all your resentments and, you know, forgive people, but don't never forget, if that makes sense. The lighter you become, right? But the higher that your protection becomes too, because it's like the higher that you vibrate, the harder the darkness could actually touch you, right? And that's how I felt in the dream the other night, because even though whoever it was growling like that and it sounded really demonic, it was like it wouldn't even reveal itself to me, right? So if anything, it was hiding behind the door, but it wouldn't come into my face, right? And so back in the day though, like when I would have dreams like that, they would actually attack me, right? But I think it's because my vibration was lower. So, but the more that I worked on my traumas and like past hurts and all my resentment and stuff, you know, I became lighter. And because I would feel like really heavy, like my heart would be really heavy because of past traumas and stuff, right? And so it was kind of hard to move on because you can't really move on if you're always hurting, right? So like you have to be lighter. So the only way that you can actually be lighter is kind of like working through it and healing everything, you know. That's what I've learned. And the more that I did that, I feel like my protection like actually raised, you know, to where a lot of darkness, it might affect me for a little bit, but I'm able to like shake it off and transmute it, right? Eventually. Faster now than I used to. And sorry, I just like literally got the shower. Like I have no makeup on or nothing, but like anyway, side note. But it would like, once I healed myself, you know, it was harder for it to touch me. And so like I would feel really heavy and stuff back in the day, but the more that I worked on my traumas and like and all my I wouldn't say it was bitterness, but I would say grudges, right? Once I got over them and everything, and just kind of like forgive people for my sake so I can move on, I became lighter, right? And it actually raised my vibration because I was lighter. And I wasn't worried about the pain and stuff. It wasn't bringing me down to that lower state of consciousness to where certain negative energies could attach itself to me, right? To kind of affect me. And so I learned the more that I worked on my traumas and stuff, like the harder it was for the darkness to actually touch me, right? Because like in Cali, it was crazy. When I was in Cali, I think it was like when I first got out there in 2021. I remember I just got my car and I was going into Walmart, and there's this woman walking out of Walmart, and she had like 3 kids with her. They're like in their teens, and they're all like cool, or they're just walking, right? And I remember I looked at them, like glanced at them because I was walking past them, right? Or about to. She didn't even see me, right, at all. So, but as soon as I walked past her, she looked at me. I seen her. She looked at me, and I still don't look at her, but I could see her in my side view, right? She looked at me, and as soon as she looked at me, her face frowned up, and she started cussing out her kids for no reason. And I was just like she really went off on her kids. Like, she wasn't even talking to her kids. Like, she was walking in front of them, right? And when I passed her, as soon as she looked at me, her face found up, and then she started cussing out her kids, like, literally. And I was just like, that's rude. That's messed up. Like, why is she cussing out her kids for? They didn't even do anything. It was just random, but it was just because she looked at me, you know. I don't know what it was. But that would happen to me a lot. But I think, like back then, I would be like, why is everybody acting weird? Like, I really felt like I was in a Twilight Zone. And it wasn't everybody, but it was a lot of people that would do that to me out there. And so I would keep to myself a lot because I didn't know what was going on. And I think it's because, I don't know if they felt something like in my presence or what, but it triggers them, like, literally, a lot of people, unfortunately, you know. But, like, she flipped. That was the first time I noticed it. And I was just like, well, that was weird, right? But it kept happening after that. And I just noticed, like, if, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the vibration. I don't know. Maybe it's too high to where they feel a certain type of way. And they start acting in certain ways that is kind of confusing to me, if that makes sense. But, like, I noticed, like, or another thing that happened was, and this is recently, it was like a few months ago, I would go to 7-Eleven a lot and eat their ice, right, and get ice, right. And there's this homeless lady I would see all the time. She'd be walking all the time out there. She never spoke with me or anything, but I would see her walk a lot, right. And when I'd be working and stuff, I'll see her, you know, kind of like people watch. And one day I went to 7-Eleven to get ice, and she was walking towards the store to go in the store, but I was like about to pull into the parking spot, right? And like, I remember I pulled into the parking spot, and like, she literally looked at me, like, she looked at me in my eyes when I was pulling into the spot, but she was like about to walk past my car to go into the store, if that makes sense. But as soon as she looked at me, she did the same thing. Like, okay, so she looked at me, and as soon as she looked at me in my eyes, she started walking backwards for no freaking reason, and slowly. So it seemed like a freaking horror movie, to be honest with you, because like, she was literally about to go into the store, but as soon as she looked at me, she started walking backwards slowly, and I was just looking at her like, why is she doing that? And she was still staring at me while she's walking backwards. And so I was like, this is kind of creepy. Like, why is she walking backwards? And like, she walked backwards all the way to the end of the building, and then she hid behind the building and was just looking at me. But she wouldn't go in the store. And so like, I sat in the car for a minute just looking at her like, why is she looking at me like that? And why is she hiding behind the building, right? And so I eventually went in the store and got what I had to get. And then even when I came out, she still didn't go in the store. She's still staring at me. And I was just like, this is weird. So I didn't know, like, certain things will always happen to me like that, especially out there. And so a lot of times I would keep to myself a lot, you know, because I didn't trust anyone, like, to be honest with you. And I felt it would be safer if I kept to myself, because I didn't know, like, what was going on. But, like, I would have people gang stalking me and everything, and I just didn't know what was going on, so I felt like it would be better for me to, like, stay to myself, and I'm glad I did, you know. Because who freaking knows what was going on, but at the same time, it just seems like, since my vibration was higher, I think, it kind of, like, eliminates the darkness to where it can't even be in my presence. That's what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, how come she don't want to go in the store now? You know, it's just weird. And that would happen to me a lot out there, right? And so I think, like, the higher my vibration raised, you know, the harder it was for the darkness to actually touch me, like, in a negative manner. And that's why I think it's important to work on your traumas and everything, so that way it can't really touch you, right? Because imagine, like, if I was operating out of pain and hurt and stuff, things that I didn't heal, it would have been easier for, like, it would be easier for me to attract certain people and negative, that operates in negative energy. They would be around me more, right? because that's the energy I would have been in, right, if I didn't raise my conscious levels by working on my traumas and everything, right, and working on myself pretty much. It would have been easier for certain things to attach to me like that, right, or to affect me in like a negative manner, right? But since I overcame so much and worked on myself so much, it's like it can't even touch me. If anything, it can't even be my presence. And that's why I think, like, in my dream, like, I used to get attacked in my dreams. Like, I literally see people attack me. I know exactly who my attackers are. And they would attack me, like, literally. And that was back in the day. That was before I actually worked on myself. But the more I worked on myself, the less dreams I would have of them attacking me, because I haven't had a dream of me being attacked for almost 2 years until the other night. And so I was kind of confused when I woke up. I was like, why did I get attacked last night? Or like, why did I dream about that? You know, it's like it wanted to attack me because it was growling so bad, like it wanted to bust out the door. But it was like it just couldn't. But at the same time, even though it didn't reveal its face to me, I still knew who it was, because for some reason I could still see the face, right? So I know who it was, but it wasn't who I thought it was, which is kind of creepy. And but the more I feel like over the years, the more that I've worked on myself, the higher my vibration became. And that's probably why I haven't been having a lot of bad dreams, like negative dreams like that, until the other day. I don't know why I had one the other day, to be honest with you. But if anything, it couldn't attack me though. But it was growing loud, right? So like, I don't know. I just felt like it just couldn't touch me because my vibration is too high. You know, so I don't know, but I just think it's good to work on yourself, because it is easier for certain things, entities, or not even entities, just like, it's just easier for negative things to actually affect you. But I know it's like nowadays, I don't, like, I could hear even, like, if someone tries to bring me down or bring up my past or anything, like, because a lot of, like, certain people, whoever knows my triggers, right, they'll try to use it against me or whatever, try to bring it up. But at the same time, since I already healed, you know, it's harder for them to even bring me in that lower vibration, to feel bad about myself or be depressed, or anything like that. And if they even try to do that, you know, if it works, it'll probably just work for a hot second, like literally. And then I just transmute it really fast to where it doesn't affect me, right? That's because my vibration is high. But if I was still vibing low, it would have been easier for it to trigger me, right? And so that doesn't happen anymore. But like literally after that dream, I woke up, I was like, why am I having dreams of being attacked again? And I was like, you know what? Bump this. So what I did, I just got up and like, I think I just started dancing, like literally, and that raised my vibration, because I was like, oh, I'm getting this energy off of me. And I was just super excited, right? And so I even did a video, it just didn't come out right. But it was kind of creepy. It's like Freddy Krueger, like literally. But yeah, it's good to kind of like try to stay high vibing, because it's just easier. Like life it'll seem more, you know, easy. And that's why I say, like, I've been gone for a little bit, but it's not like I'm abandoning you guys. But, you know, I still work on myself, you know, because I'm not perfect. And I know I come and talk to you guys about my experiences and stuff like that. And, you know, I can't really kind of help anyone if I stop helping myself too, you know. So I still work on myself regardless of how much I've healed and everything. Like, I view life as like a learning, like a school pretty much. And I don't think you'll ever stop learning. And so I don't think I'll ever stop working on myself, because no one's perfect, right? And everybody has their stuff, right? And so even though I've healed a lot, I still have stuff I need to work on. And that's what I've been up to. And I just think it's important for me to continue to work on myself, especially if I'm like trying to help everybody else, like other people that are going through certain things I already went through, right? To kind of like keep up with it, right? I can't just stop just because I made it to a certain level. It doesn't stop, right? So I gotta keep going. So like, of course I work on myself too, but that's what I've been doing to be honest, since I've been MIA. I just been working on myself, you know. And I like strive for perfection. I always say this. I always strive for perfection because I feel like if you strive for perfection, it's like everything in your life will be more balanced because it's like you're putting, when I say strive for perfection, it means like whatever you do, anything that you do, put your all into it, right? And do it to the best of your ability. So that way everything else will be more balanced for you because, you know, you actually put the work in, right? And so to the best of your ability, right? Like not slacking and not doing half of jobs, right? Or manipulating people to get to a certain level or lying and cheating and doing all this stuff, right? And so like when you actually put your full effort into everything that you do, it's like you're striving for perfection, right? But when you strive for perfection, you also have to know that nothing's perfect. So you'll never reach you'll never be perfect, right? But when you strive for perfection, it's like you put your all into everything that you do to the best of your ability so that way you can get the best results, right? And so when you do it that way, I feel like your life will be more balanced, right? And so it'll be harder for negativity to actually touch you. And you know, I noticed too, like, even in the tablets, I know I speak about the tablets, but the Emerald tablets, you know, Thoth speaks about having balanced poles. And so he mentions that it's good and important for you to balance your poles, your mind, body, and your soul, your yin and yang, everything, right? Just have everything as balanced as possible because when you have balanced poles, it's easier for you to avoid accidents and death, right? So when your poles are balanced, it's harder for death to approach you, and it's harder for you to actually encounter accidents because of your balanced poles, because your mind, body, and soul is balanced, right? And it's kind of like when I did read up on it too about like your poles being balanced and everything like that. Cause okay, so then let me just go back before I say this. So he says it's easier for you to avoid accidents and death, right? Whenever your poles are balanced. And he say like whenever one pole is not balanced, then that's when everything else kind of falls out of balance within your life, right? So with the unbalanced pole, it's easier for you to encounter accidents and possibly death, right? Whenever one pole is not aligned or balanced, right? So it's important to balance your poles. And that's why I kind of strive for perfection when I do certain things, and especially with working on myself, you know, so that way I'll be as balanced as possible. So like a lot of times I'll go outside a lot and ground myself. So I walk or I go sit outside, you know, out in nature, because it helps me ground myself when I feel unbalanced, you know. That actually helps me balance myself out. Meditating, of course. But it's good to have your poles balanced so that way you can avoid accidents and certain things that are detrimental to your health and yourself, right? And I was reading up on it too. I researched it a little bit, like balanced poles, like what does that mean? And I read about it, like I don't know if it's true or not, but when I researched it, it was talking about how like your yin and yang is balanced, like your male side of you, aspect of you, and the female aspect of you is balanced, right? And like the male aspect of you is like me, okay, like say like I use more of my I use more of my male aspect of me, like mentally, like okay, I use my male side of me like okay, well, if I need to get my goals taken care of, and take care of business, then I use more of my the male aspect of myself, like the mentality of the male mentality of myself, right? To actually go after the goals and like get it taken care of, like, get it done. And so I learned, like, the more, like, when I was working and stuff, when I would strive too much or work too hard or spend too much time at work, it's kind of like it's not balanced, right? So it would have been easier for me to get in an accident, because I was doing too much, right? I was working out of a certain energy too much, right? But when you're balanced, it's like you're balanced. So I'll work towards my goals, use my male aspect of myself to, like, get it done, get it taken care of and everything, right? And then I balance it by, like, taking a break from work or something and then focusing on something else, like being able to retain information, like studying or just learning, pretty much like the female aspect, right? So when they're both balanced, it's like it keeps your everything balanced in your life, right? Because you notice if you work too hard, then you get stressed out, or certain crap will happen. You just be like, it's not good, right? It's just like negative. So it's like when you balance it out, it's like your whole body would be balanced, right? Your mind especially. So it's like you'll be able to focus more and not be able to get into accidents, because you're not doing too much. So I noticed that during my journey too. And so I think that's what Thoth was kind of talking about, having your poles balanced and staying as balanced as you can. Because the more that you're balanced, the harder it is for certain things that's detrimental to you will occur. And because, like, to be honest with you guys, like, I have never gotten an accident, like, my whole life, like, since I've been driving. I've been driving since I was, like, 16, like, literally. And I've never been in an accident. If I did, it was just, like, maybe I backed up into a pole and busted my tail, like, by myself because of me, but not because of anything else, right? And even getting pulled over, like, I recently have, but, like, this whole time I haven't been pulled over. Like, for years, like, since I have my license. And it's crazy because, like, I work a lot. I used to work, like, crazy, like, and I drove a lot where I worked. So I would drive a lot while I was working. And then on top of that, I just drive anyway a lot. And then I would take trips and everything. And I've never been in an accident the whole time. And it kind of scares me when I think about it, because there's a lot of times where I could have been in accidents and it was just, like, avoided. It's like I would see the accidents happen around me, but it wouldn't actually happen to me, if that makes sense. So, like, I would just miss it, or it just wouldn't happen, but then I would just see someone else in an accident. It would be like that, but it would just never directly hurt me, right? But I think it's because, I don't know, possibly because I was balanced, to where the universe kind of works with me to kind of protect me, if that makes sense. I'm not for sure, but all the times that I've drove and everything, nothing ever happened. But that's what Thoth says. So, like, when you're balanced, have a balanced equilibrium, it's harder for you to encounter accidents or death, pretty much. And so I think that's why it's important to kind of stay balanced as you can. And I feel like the more that you strive for perfection, the easier it is for you to have your life balanced, because you're putting your best effort into everything that you do, right? And so when you do it that way, you can't really fail. So, and then the more balanced you will become. And I don't know. But I think that's why, like, a lot of times, like even that dream the other night, I feel like that's why it couldn't attack me, because, like, it stayed behind the door. Like, it wouldn't even open the door. But for some reason, I could see the face of the person, but they still didn't come out the door. But they were so angry, like, to where they were growling, and it sounded seriously demonic. And, like, but even if it was demonic, I still wasn't afraid of it, right? And it still couldn't touch me, and it wouldn't even reveal itself to me. Like, it hid, if anything, from me, But back in the day, though, like, I literally would get bitten and everything by them. And like I would wake up and still feel it on my arm. Like that's how crazy it is. Used to be, right? But now it's like it can't even touch me, whatever it is. But it was hiding the other night. But I woke up, I was like, not today. Not today, Satan. But now literally like I was like, I need to raise my vibration when I woke up. And so I started dancing like crazy all morning, and like I had my coffee, and like I don't know, I just tried to be as positive as I could, right? To eliminate the darkness, right? But yeah, it's good to have your poles balanced, you know. And he says it like this. He's like, when one pole becomes unbalanced, that's when death will approach. Like, what? What did you just say? Kind of freaked me out. But he's true. It's true. I believe it's true. Because I just witnessed it in my own experience, you know, my journey. Like, because I could have been hurt so many times. You know how many times I traveled? How many times I traveled to work? And on top of that, traveling to different states? Nothing, right? By myself. You know? Like, I would have certain things happen, like, to my car maybe, but, like, it wasn't detrimental or, like, it wasn't something I couldn't fix, right? Or it was too expensive, nothing like that. I was able to, like, overcome it every time, but, yeah. I think it's true. By being balanced, you know, everything else will be balanced, and it's harder for death to approach you. He said death won't approach you. He said death is harder. It's harder for death to approach you, and easier for you to avoid accidents. So that's why I continuously work on myself, no matter how far I am, you know, because I don't want to lose it, you know, and go backwards, you know. What is it called? Degress. We need to progress, you know. So I will always work on myself and try to stay as balanced as possible. And if I feel depression or anything like creeping up on me, I'll let the emotions go through my body first before I act on them, and kind of like sort everything out in my mind before I act irrational. So that way I can approach the situation in a more balanced way instead of being irate about everything that's not, or that's kind of like trying to hurt me, you know? Like, I kind of like process it first before I act out, you know, because it might not be as bad as they're trying to make it seem, you know? And by me acting out, it does nothing but make me come out of balance, right? Because that's what they want. So I noticed that. So like I learned how to process it first, think about it, go through all the facts, and kind of process everything out first before acting on certain things, because I don't want to come out of balance, and that's what they need me to do. Because if I come out of balance, that means negativity could attach itself to me or try to make me depressed or feel a certain type of way. When I will not let that happen. I will not let that happen. So I will stay balanced. But anyway, one more thing. So the good thing to do to try to stay balanced and keep your vibes high to where the darkness can't touch you is doing things that you love. Like, I love cooking, right? So I'll cook, or I'll watch my favorite movies or my favorite shows. I'll go walking, you know, anything that makes your vibration high, right? Make you happy. Like comedies, I'll watch comedies. Things that will just brighten your day pretty much. And by me doing that, you know, that just raises your vibration. If you start feeling depressed or low about yourself, that's just from my experience, that's what I would do. That's what I do, you know. Because they tried to get me the other day. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, yeah. Right after I had that dream, yeah. I was like, I'm not about to go down that rabbit hole. Not today. So I was like, I'm about to do everything I love to do all day. Raise my vibration. And it worked, you know. Even today I tried to, you know. I was just like, nope, I'm not about to do that. Not today. And so I had to snap out of it. I always have to. Because I could feel it, you know. Because like I feel like if negative energy tries to bring me down, because like I'll feel jittery maybe, or like I just wouldn't feel like myself. I feel out of balance, or maybe like I start tripping over random stuff for no reason, or like I just don't feel balanced, right? Or I just feel weird. And so I could tell, I could feel it, because I'm really in tune with my body, right? So I could feel it when it's coming. I'm like, nope, not today. And then I start doing things I love, to raise my vibration, so that way it won't bring me low, you know. And the more that I'm happy, like genuinely happy, it's like it's harder for it to kind of like pull me back down, because I refuse to let it. But the best way to do that is by healing like traumas and your resentments and grudges that you have against others, because even if they're still acting in that manner, it's kind of like good to ignore it and kind of be a bigger person over it, so that way if they do approach you with negativity, it won't like affect you as bad, if that makes sense, to kind of lower your vibration. You gotta keep your vibration high, then it won't mess with you as bad, Like even if I see like negative comments and stuff like about myself or whatever, I kind of just scroll past it. I'm just like, whatever. People are gonna say crap anyway, regardless. So I just don't let it get to me. It's like whatever, and keep it pushing, So yeah. Anyway, I don't want to talk you guys' heads off tonight, but I just wanted to come and say hi. Wish you guys a good weekend, and I'll probably be on next week. I need to go to sleep, but yeah, it's crazy. But hopefully, you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.